There's a myth that quietly destroys adult relationships, and buying into it opens you up to dysfunction, separation, and divorce. And it's this: love is unconditional. If they say they love me, they'll stay no matter what. Now, that belief sounds comforting, and we've been fed it through a variety of different ways throughout all of our formative years. Songs, movies, poems, characters, Prince Charming, phrases like, and they lived happily ever after, religion, and other institutions that insist that love is unconditional. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a really nice sentiment and it's romantic, but it's not reality and it's not human. Adult love is not unconditional, and pretending that it is doesn't make the relationship safer, it makes them more fragile. Because when you believe that endless love is guaranteed in some way, you stop paying attention to how your behavior is landing, and that's usually when things start to fall apart. Stick around in this video to understand what real love looks like and to learn 5 patterns to help you wake up and stop taking your love for granted. Hi, I'm Dr. Scott Symes. If you're new to my channel, I'm really glad that you're here. My mission is to help you wake up to how your dysfunctional patterns are sabotaging your fulfillment, your happiness, and your relationships. My program, Breaking Reactive Patterns, is all about transformation, helping you understand why you are the way that you are and teaching you the skills that are necessary to grow yourself, improve your relationship with your partner and your kids, and become a healthy adult that you know you can be. Make sure you hit the subscribe button below and the bell for notifications for when I post a video weekly. Okay, so let's be a little bit discerning here. Unconditional love is for children, not for adult partners. In fact, unconditional love is a developmental necessity for children. Kids don't know how to act, and kids need care even when they're dysregulated, when they're being difficult, when they're being destructive. That's how healthy and functional nervous systems develop. Kids need to be shown love and connection even when they're unruly. But adult romantic relationships work differently. Your partner is not your parent. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard my clients come into my office and say things like they're in an adult relationship with a child, meaning that their partner's attitude and behavior is so immature, it makes them feel like they're parenting their own spouse. Listen, we're not wired to indefinitely tolerate chronic emotional injury, immaturity, neglect, or invalidation. Adult relationships, in fact, are based on mutual choice, and that choice is conditioned by emotional safety and security. That's number 1. Repair after conflict, feeling understood and valued. Individual responsibility for how we affect each other, also known as reciprocity. Empathy, and more. If you're in a relationship and you're feeling like love is slowly dwindling away, it's not because your partner is trying to be cruel to you. Love fades when there's been disconnecting patterns in a relationship that can't seem to be addressed or resolved. And then staying in the relationship feels like an obligation when the relationship doesn't feel fulfilling and you no longer feel loved. The following analogy is something that I use often, and it's not glamorous, but it is reality. I often compare relationships to work. You may love what you do, but where you do it is your choice. If you work in an environment that's demeaning, puts you down, acts passive aggressively, doesn't feel fulfilling, you may do everything you can to try to affect some degree of change. But if that change doesn't occur, you're going to start looking for another job, because where you work is a choice, just like where you love. People talk about forever like it's a contract signed in blood. Once you sign it, that's it. The reality is that forever is an agreement, not a promise. In real relationships, forever is something that you re-choose over and over again, not through gestures, but through daily behavior. You choose it based on how connected you feel in the relationship. And that connection is dependent on how you handle your moods, your attitudes. When you're struggling with something, are you taking it out on the people around you? Whether you repair or avoid. When you make a mistake, do you take responsibility? Or do you invalidate your partner, turn it around on them, blame them, shut down from them, giving your partner no ability to be able to reconnect to you? Whether your partner feels heard, or if you're constantly defending against their experiences of you, which breaks down the connection and it leans your partner more towards the choice of leaving. Most relationships don't die because of one big event. They die a death of 1,000 cuts, because years of unrepaired moments quietly stack up, and over time you start to feel like your roommates. Eventually your partner stops asking for any kind of change, not because they don't care, but because they've lost hope that it's safe to do so, or that any change will actually come. And that's when people say things like, I don't know what happened. it just fell apart. But it didn't fall apart. It eroded slowly over time because one or both of you weren't willing to do the work to keep the relationship healthy and intact. When people hear you're taking your partner for granted, they think that that means laziness or a lack of effort. But more often it looks like assuming that they're going to get over it if you've hurt them. Acting like nothing happened and just moving on or sweeping things under the rug. Having no tolerance for working on the relationship, expressing annoyance, irritation, or downright hostility to making any kind of changes. Feeling threatened when your partner wants to go to therapy or to try to improve the relationship in any way, as if in some way or another that's an attack on you. Being chronically defensive, unwilling to take responsibility for your behavior and the effect it has on your partner. Or digging your heels in and holding on to the idea that this is just how I am, take it or leave it, which gives your partner absolutely no room to continue to negotiate this agreement as you age. Because the hard truth is we change as we age. Every single one of us. We're not the same person in our 50s as we were in our 20s. And if these patterns have been going on consistently for 10, 15, 20 years, there's a lot to unpack. There's a lot to change for us to feel connected enough to go further and further and further into life. Because you can love your partner very deeply and still make them feel alone. And over time, that loneliness inside of the relationship is one of the strongest predictors of somebody leaving. When someone stops bringing these things to you, when they stop expressing their hurts, when they stop asking for change, that's not peace, that's resignation. They've given up. And the problem is that most people, when they're taking love for granted, they don't realize that they're contributing to the breakdown. Why? Because defense mechanisms make us blind to our own influence. Here are the most common ones that I see. The victim stance. I'm always the one being attacked. Number 2, defensiveness, explaining, correcting, or justifying instead of just listening. Number 3, emotional shutdown, avoiding, disconnecting, all to try to protect yourself from dealing with conflict, hashing it out, trying to work with your partner. Number 4, moral superiority, being right instead of being relational. Number 5, minimization, downplaying how much your behavior actually is costing the relationship or how it's affecting your partner. And then number 6, manipulation, twisting the truth because you're too ashamed to admit wrongdoing. Listen, these defensive patterns do not make you a bad person. Everybody has them. It means that you learn dysfunctional ways to protect yourself that now are making intimacy unsafe and seemingly impossible, because defense mechanisms protect you in the moment, but at the cost of the relationship over time. And that's how it erodes. The reality is that people rarely leave because their partner is imperfect. No, they leave because repair doesn't happen, or these defense mechanisms keep going on and on and on, because emotional bids get unanswered, because staying starts to feel more like a constant fight against invalidation or disconnection. And by the time someone leaves, they've already grieved the relationship while they're still in it. And then they say, I've tried everything, which usually means that I stopped feeling safe enough to keep trying. The love didn't disappear, but the choice to continue to be in the relationship doesn't make sense anymore. Listen, feelings fluctuate, especially when you're in a long-term relationship. Choice is action. Choice is a verb. So if you're looking to try to change yourself, you have to learn how to be able to see your choices in action, see how you're affecting your partner, recognize your own responsibility, because love is chosen when you stay curious instead of defensive. Curiosity is the opposite of defensiveness. When you take responsibility instead of assigning blame, when you repair and you work on the problem rather than shut down and avoid. Because the irony is this: the more you assume that love is guaranteed and almost obligated, the more likely it is to crumble and erode, because you don't secure your love with your partner by demanding loyalty. You secure it by being and becoming emotionally safe enough to connect to. So here are 5 ways to wake up and start taking responsibility for your relationship. And remember, responsibility is not self-blame. We're not looking to judge ourselves, criticize ourselves, or shame ourselves. It's power. When you hold the responsibility, you have the ability then to engage in your power, your authentic self, that allows you to make different choices and to become the person that you want to be. When you are constantly defensive, you're looking at what everybody's doing to you rather than looking at, maybe I'm creating the problem myself. So number 1, track your patterns, not your partner's. Notice what you do when you're triggered. Do you get in your superiority complex? Do you over-explain? Do you withdraw and shut down? Do you attack? Do you put down? Do you invalidate? Number 2, observe and empathize with the impact of that behavior. Ask yourself, what would it be like to be on the receiving end of my behavior right now? Number 3, get curious when you get defensive. Defensiveness is a signal, not a fact. It's a signal that we feel under threat, but in reality, we're not under threat. This is our partner. He or she is just trying to talk with us about something that's bothering them. They might not be doing it the way that we want to do it, but it's in our best interest to hear them out. It's in our best interest to work this out with them if we want that partner to continue to choose this relationship. Number 4, repair faster and more directly. In breaking reactive patterns, we have an acronym called SAFE: sensation, assess, focus, and engage. In A, assess, we have to assess whether or not this is actually a threat. And when we walk away to calm our body down, we are assessing our responsibility so that we can come back and we can take responsibility and repair fast and not let this get swept under the rug or make our partner wait hours before we come to our senses and accept responsibility for our own behavior. And finally, number 5, exit the victim mentality. You have to learn to be able to acknowledge your own pain, your own struggle, without putting your upsets on other people as if everybody's doing something to you. Practicing those 5 are going to get you somewhere. But if you really want to change yourself and transform, you need to look into my program, Breaking Reactive Patterns, the blueprint for building a safe and healthy relationship. In BRP, we take nothing for granted. We understand that love is not unconditional and that it is based in conditions. It's based in how we are as people, and understand that if I am doing things that are unsafe and I'm causing pain to my partner, it's up to me to change that. It's not up to my partner to change that. We understand that our relationships are not going to survive based on some myth about unconditional love and the happily ever after idea. Relationships survive because people stay accountable. They stay emotionally present and they're willing to change. If you're interested in my program, look below this video. There's a link for a discovery call. Make that discovery call today, because the goal is not to get somebody to stay. The goal is to become someone that they want to continue to choose. And that choice starts with you. Thanks so much for watching.